Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the LyteByte Studios Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas, here with
And
my
I'm
friend Joe.
Joe.
Sorry, I was talking over you right there. That was horrible.
It was. I'll forgive you for now.
Okay, all right. So, this is the show where we talk about all things technology and tech news.
Mostly him. I listen.
Yeah, but we're going to do some cool stories here today. Should be pretty interesting. Would you like me to start the first story, Joe?
You can start away.
All right. So, up first, we have Seagate, good old hard drive manufacturer. They just shut down one of their largest plants in China. And this was an article here from techpowerup.com. So, this was in Suzhou, China, and the plant was closed. And it's one of the company's largest plants. And this is thought to be due to the increase in SSDs and the lower cost of SSDs as well. So there's about 55 to 60 million hard drives were produced per quarter, and that's going to be decreasing down to 35 to 40 million per quarter now. And also, they are planning on laying off over 2,200 employees, and it's also unlikely that they'll be converting this to an SSD plant anytime soon. So it's kind of interesting to think about, really, because of how much SSDs have really taken off in the past few years, actually. In terms of the price, they've gone down immensely, and their capacity's really gone up too.
Okay.
And,
So what exactly is the difference between the two?
well, a hard drive is basically where you have um, a stack of these metal discs inside of a little box, and it has a motor that spins those around anywhere from like 5,400 RPM to 7,200 RPM. And there's a little arm that goes back and forth, and it reads and writes on those magnetic discs. And so the downside to, well, the upside to hard drives is they can hold a lot of data on those little magnetic discs because they're they just have a lot more room that you can put on those magnetic discs. They can go anywhere from I have a 2 terabyte drive in my system right now, so
Same.
2,000 gigabytes. You do too? All right. But they're already going up to about 10 gigabytes right now. The downside, though, to them is that they're slow and uh, they're also they have problems. They can fail because they're mechanical and they're spinning that fast.
hmm
Now SSDs are the exact opposite, really. They hold less, but they're stored on electronic chips, the similar way that like flash drives are. So they're super fast, and you can read files really fast on them. That's why people use them in like gaming PCs and stuff. So then their games load up super quick too.
Okay. What's like the price difference between for comparable sizes?
Well, about a 2 terabyte hard drive can run you anywhere from about $40 to $60, and a 120 gigabyte SSD can run you anywhere from $30 to $60.
So yeah, it's a whole lot cheaper, or at least more value if you get the HD
Yeah,
hard drive.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of people use them for just like if they're going to be storing a lot of files and stuff. So like in my setup, I have a 128 gig SSD that just has Windows on it and some important programs, and then I have my 2 terabyte hard drive, which I keep all of my like uh, games and other big files and stuff on.
Yeah.
So and it works pretty good. I quite like it. It's SSDs are also a really good upgrade. People like to recommend them for old laptops and stuff because old laptops are slow. It's a really good way to speed them up.
And they're less prone to failure.
That too, because with a laptop you're carrying it around everywhere.
Yeah.
So, you ready to move on to the next topic then?
Yes.
All right. So, you watched the video about this
Yeah.
recently, didn't you? Okay. So, this is a new browser created by Opera, and so Opera, they don't really make up too much of the market share really anymore, but they are still a browser that is still thriving, and so they have a new project here called Neon. Now, it's a little bit different from traditional browsers as it doesn't keep things in tabs. It keeps things in little bubbles. Did you see that in the video there?
Yeah, and like there was it looked like they had the main bubbles for like what would be like the top bar on like Chrome, but instead like you go there, they're little bubbles. You click on it, it'll take you directly to that site.
Okay.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. The company also said that it won't be replacing the main Opera browser yet, but it's just really a sort of development experiment for the developers over at Opera. Some of the features is that it will have a pop-out video player, a screenshotting tool, an image gallery, a download manager, and even a split-screen view to view two pages at once. I believe the example they used in the video was like with Facebook Messenger and another site, kind of like
Yeah.
running side by side. Unfortunately, Opera did announce that it will not be coming to Linux. It's only just a small development project, just for fun, kind of.
Yeah.
So, so what do you think, Joe? Do you think like that would like going away from the tab system to more like a bubble sort of thing? What do you think of that?
I think that potentially that could be useful. That would it would like eliminate the need to have like a home screen for your browser, which can be annoying sometimes. If
That's
like you
true.
just kind of want to get straight to what you want to do.
That's true. Kind of like a phone where you just have like your grid of apps right there.
Yeah, but without being able to see like how it handles like right now I have what like 8, 10 tabs open right now. How
Hmm.
would that work with this new browser?
Yeah, it would probably be a bit of an issue trying to get things organized together. All right. Now, up next, in our previous episode, we covered the new Intel Kaby Lake CPUs, and we focused a little bit on the Pentium and how it was an incredible budget CPU for people looking to save some money on building a machine. And so the results have come in, and the Intel Pentium G 4560 is nearly identical to the i5 2500K. Now, to put that in perspective, the Pentium CPU is from this year, and the i5 is from 2011. And the price difference is the Pentium is a $64 CPU, and the i5 is a $139 CPU used on Amazon. It's actually discontinued now, so you have to buy it used. And this is really interesting because it means that computer parts are like, in terms of performance, we've really had a lot of a jump in performance since 2011. And so, I mean, cheaper parts means, more people can get into the, custom PC market, and all around pretty good for the whole industry. So
Yeah.
I had an idea, actually, on what the cheapest gaming PC I could probably build was using like new parts, because the best thing to really, if you really want to build a cheap PC, is to use used parts. But um, just using strictly new parts, I made this list here on PC Part Picker. And so for $339, I had made a pretty, good PC that could play probably not any new AAA games, but definitely games from some previous generations. Definitely games like Overwatch, League, and CS:GO, different things like that.
Yeah.
Um, just a quick rundown on the specs. For $64, we have the Pentium CPU. We have a $47 ASRock motherboard. We have 4 gigs of RAM. We have an SSD at 120 gigabytes. An RX 460. I went with AMD for this because they're pretty. They're really crushing it right now in the like budget graphics card market. There was a case by Fractal Design, and then we also used a EVGA 430-watt power supply. And yeah, it came out to $359 or $339 after the
Mail-in
mail
rebates.
mail-in rebates. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how prices are fluctuating around a lot.
Yeah, and I mean like a lot of people are like they don't want to get into PC gaming just because it's really expensive. Where like if you
Mhm.
do go for the top of line and you want the best performance on the newest games, that will be expensive. But here, this should be able to get you through a lot of like popular games, and you should be able to play them with little problem.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know there was a lot of benchmarks of Overwatch when it first came out because and it's a very easy game to run. I know, so yeah, like if you want to get into Overwatch, a build like this would probably really be a good idea if you're looking to save some cash too. All right. Up next, in a little bit of more sad news, AT&T has shut down its 2G network. Nowadays, pretty much most of America we're already using 4G, and occasionally you may run into an area with 3G, but 2G is pretty out of commission at this stage, and it was shut down as of January 1st. So a little bit old news, but it was really only officially commented on by AT&T now. So they kind of left some customers a little bit in the dark for a little while. But this renders some phones, like really old Android phones and the original iPhone, in fact, are now completely obsolete in terms of data. Now, this shouldn't really affect many people unless you're really using an old phone, but for people like here in the land of corn, that is Indiana, we have a lot of rural areas. Um, I don't really know. Do you have a lot of rural areas where you are in Florida, Joe?
Not really,
Not
not that I
really.
know.
All right. Well, around here, you can be driving through a county road, and next thing you know, your phone will have no service, and then you come to the top of a hill, and you'll be back on your 4G. So we're pretty spotty service around here, and that's on Verizon. Verizon, they're always touting biggest and best network, all that stuff. But yeah, this would probably actually be a problem around here for some people because I'm sure there are some uh, small places around here where people live that only have 2G. So well, it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
but I mean, in the end, it will move more people to upgrade, which of course make Apple happy. But overall, it will progress and they'll have better network stuff.
Yeah, because it'll free up a lot more tower space and airwave space too for newer technologies.
And the phone developers, they don't have to focus on 2G stuff anymore. They can focus, not that they were really probably before, but
Yeah,
now they have 100% focus on newer things.
yeah, that makes sense too. So it'll be interesting to see, how like things change because I also know AT&T has been testing out 5G actually, and as far as I know, the only country that actually has 5G fully is what is it? It's South Korea, I think.
South Korea,
Yep.
of course they'd have that.
So yeah, it should just be interesting.
Yep. On a similar topic with phones, probably based off of Samsung's little mishap last year, a Stanford University research team are creating batteries that have fire extinguishers.
This is pretty interesting, actually. So what it is it's a triphenyl phosphate compound that sits inside a shell, and if the battery gets hot enough, it actually melts through the shell and extinguishes the battery. And reports have said that it can extinguish a fire in under 4 seconds, or actually under 4/10 of a second. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, it would only happen if something goes wrong, but what would generally cause something to get to that kind of heat?
Um, really, I'm not an expert on electronics myself, but I know short circuiting a battery is one thing that can happen, and just different manufacturing errors in batteries too is a possibility. But under
Okay.
normal conditions, it shouldn't happen.
Okay, yeah. And it should be noted it's 150 degrees Celsius, which is 302 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's really hot.
Very hot. So, yeah, I guess that's really all our news we have today.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching our second episode of the LyteByte Studios Tech Podcast. Please check out our website at lightbytestudios.com for all the news and updates, and the latest podcast will be published there. You can also check us out on YouTube Twitch and VidMe for archives of the show. And also, if you're interested, you can join our Discord fan group, and there'll be a server link in the description. You can join and you can message us, suggest news stories, all kinds of other stuff, and just hang out in the call. So, yeah, is there anything else you got to add?
Um, no, I do not have anything else to add.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Have a good night.
Night.